It began with a sky that refused to behave. Imagine waking up one morning and seeing the sun hanging above the horizon like a dim orange coin. The air feels colder than it should. Crops stop growing. Birds disappear. No one understands why. You would probably think the gods were angry, but they weren't. The real answer was far more terrifying. In the year 536 CE, something happened that historians still describe as one of the greatest disasters ever experienced by human civilization. For nearly 18 months, a mysterious haze covered much of Europe, the Middle East, and parts of Asia. The Byzantine historian Procopius wrote that the sun gave off its light without brightness, almost like the moon. People had never seen anything like it, and neither had the planet. For centuries, nobody knew what caused this strange darkness. Then modern science uncovered the answer. Deep inside the ice of Greenland and Antarctica, tiny layers of frozen ash preserved the evidence. Researchers, including glaciologist Michael Sigl, discovered microscopic volcanic particles trapped inside ancient ice. The conclusion was remarkable. A massive volcanic eruption had blasted enormous amounts of sulfur high into the atmosphere. Instead of falling back to Earth, these particles spread across the northern hemisphere. They reflected sunlight back into space. The planet suddenly became colder. Some regions may have cooled by more than 2 degrees Celsius. That might not sound dramatic. For agriculture, it was catastrophic. What happens when summer suddenly feels like spring? Crops fail, harvests shrink, food disappears. Across Europe, written records describe failed harvests and widespread hunger. In parts of China, unusual snowfall reportedly arrived during the summer growing season. Entire communities faced a question no civilization wants to answer. How do you survive when the earth stops feeding you? But the darkness was only the beginning. Famines weaken people long before they kill them. When food becomes scarce, immune systems collapse. Communities become vulnerable, and disease finds opportunity. Only a few years later, another disaster arrived. In 541 CE, the Justinianic plague swept through the Byzantine Empire. Named after Emperor Justinian I, the outbreak spread rapidly through trade routes connecting continents. Many historians believe it was caused by the bacterium Yersinia pestis, the same organism responsible for the later Black Death. Cities that had already suffered years of hardship now faced a deadly epidemic. Some contemporary writers described thousands of deaths each day in Constantinople. Even if those numbers were exaggerated, the scale of suffering was enormous. Can one disaster make the next one even worse? History suggests the answer is yes. Climate shocks create food shortages. Food shortages weaken populations. Weakened populations struggle against disease. Each crisis feeds the next. It becomes a chain reaction. That is what made the mid-6th century so devastating. The world did not collapse because of one event. It staggered under many. Modern scientists continue studying tree rings, ice cores, volcanic ash, and ancient writings to reconstruct what happened. Every new discovery fills another missing piece. Together, they reveal a world pushed to its limits by forces no one could control. And yet, humanity survived. Farmers planted again. Cities recovered. Trade slowly returned. Civilizations adapted. Our ancestors had no satellites, no weather forecasts, no laboratories. They faced a darkened sky armed with little more than hope and persistence. There is something remarkable about that. History often celebrates great victories, powerful rulers, and magnificent monuments, but survival rarely receives the same attention. Perhaps it should. Because the greatest achievement of the people who lived through 536 wasn't building an empire. It was enduring long enough to give the future another chance. The next time you look up at a clear blue sky, remember this. The stability we enjoy is not guaranteed. It is a gift shaped by geology, climate, and countless generations who survived events they could never explain. Sometimes the most dangerous year in history isn't remembered because people conquered it. It's remembered because, against overwhelming odds, enough people simply lived through it to tell the story.